Hey guys, Super Godzilla Final Words here, and today, this one is going to be a very interesting theory. This one's another what if anime Godzilla, or whatever you want to call this series. If you have any better suggestions for a name, I would like to hear it. Anyways, so today's what if theory is, this one is going to interest you a lot, especially you after Godzilla 1954. If you're watching this video. This one is, what if Space Godzilla was in Godzilla the Planet Eater besides of Ghidorah? Now I know what you're going to be thinking. Well, how in the world would Space Godzilla would have been a thing in the Earth Godzilla trilogy? How would he be a thing? Well, we gotta think of a couple of things here. For starters, we need to think about his origins. What is his origins in this timeline? There are a lot of possibilities on what Space Godzilla's origins would have, what could have been, but I think the most interesting theory is this. Since Biollante was in Godzilla Monster Apocalypse, and since she died, her cells must have blown up into space, creating Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla would have been the monster created. Now, the other thing that we need to talk about is, well, this. If Space Godzilla was in this trilogy besides, except for, well, if Space Godzilla was in this trilogy besides of Ghidorah, what would have happened? Then what would change, and how will the story change? For starters, the exif. They continue to talk about God, aka they're talking about Ghidorah. They were always talking about him as in a way. Not directly saying his name, but saying God. They've been saying God a lot. For starters, that would have completely changed. There would have been no Ghidorah. Or for starters, there would not be a no Ghidorah in the first place. Sorry, this guy's something stuck in my throat. But yeah. But if Space Godzilla was in this trilogy, except for obviously Ghidorah, obviously things would have changed. Well, if Space Godzilla was in this trilogy, then obviously the X-Men would not be talking about God. They will not be talking about Ghidorah. There will be no reason to talk about Ghidorah. Right? There would be no reason to talk about him. So, what would the X-Men be talking about then? Well, for starters, we need to know what is Space Godzilla the exif. Well, we also gotta remember, the Exodus kind of arrived on Earth to aid the humans, and I think they even helped them to build the weapons they need to really combat monsters. So, we gotta think, if the Exodus did not arrive, but instead the Bill Saludo arrived first, they would have helped humanity to kill Biollante. This will probably be a couple of years before the Bill Saludo arrived. Not Bill Saludo. The Exodus, my bad. Space Godzilla would have been destroying a lot of planets by the time he was even created. Space Godzilla would have made his way towards Earth slowly. The Exodus would have looked at him and called him the Devil. We could say that they've been talking about Ghidorah a few times. Heck, we can even say that if this trilogy did have Space Godzilla, well then most likely, probably, Space Godzilla would have fought Godzilla first, then Ghidorah fought Godzilla next. But the question still remains, what will happen? Well, we gotta continue to look at this theory as a possibility. Yeah, sorry. Anyways, moving on. So, if Space Godzilla was basically the devil, probably the Exodus would still be talking about Ghidorah, but not as much as in the movie. They would probably be encouraging the humans to continue fighting Godzilla. But at the same time, they're hoping that the devil does not come. Now, when it came time for humanity to leave the Earth, the Exodus would have been on high alert, because they're going back to the devil's playground, basically. Because we can say that Space Godzilla, Earth Space Godzilla, was more like a devil. Not just that he continues to grow and grow and grow the more he destroys, consumes planets. We can even say that the Exif got word from one of their fellow Exif from another ship somewhere that another ship got destroyed by the devil. And it became clear to the Exif that Space Godzilla is making his way towards Earth, slowly, but very, very, very soon, and very fast, too. And we can even say that most of these planets that he's been destroying were habitable. So that's why the X-Men made the tough call to have the mothership to go to uninhabitable planets. Because the habitable planets are giving Space Godzilla more energy and more power. Uninhabitable planets, basically planets that have no life, they don't give Space Godzilla the power that he needs to come to Earth. We gotta also think, why is Space Godzilla wanting so badly to come to Earth? Because he wants to prove that he is the real king of the monsters. The only way to do that is to get rid of his brother, the Godzilla Earth. So Space Godzilla would have continued making its way towards Earth. Now we can time skip and go 20 years later, or 20,000 years, to both Space Godzilla and Earth Godzilla. Now let's move on to Godzilla the Planet Eater. We could say that Space Godzilla arrived on the scene. And when he arrives, everyone is just shocked to see another Godzilla, but this one is different. He doesn't look quite like Godzilla. He looks different. Not only that, he's summoning crystals, and he's challenging Godzilla. Space Godzilla would have proven to Godzilla Earth that he's more of a challenge for him. Not only has telekinesis, but he can summon crystals and have other weird abilities. Godzilla Earth would have been at a losing point. Until suddenly a bolt of lightning strikes Godzilla Earth on the back. And this lightning bolt is no ordinary lightning bolt. This lightning bolt is so massive, it's 3 times bigger than Earth Godzilla, giving him the power he needs to turn into Super Godzilla. Super Godzilla would have been strong enough of a real threat to Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla would have been beaten by Godzilla Earth, but not killed. You can say that Earth Godzilla was very close on killing Space Godzilla, but Space Godzilla left. And Nephis claims that Space Godzilla may have been beaten, but he will come back, ready for round 2. And Godzilla Earth goes back to normal. However, with the mothership destroyed, it's now up to Nephis to summon King Ghidorah all by himself. But the biggest question remains, can he summon Ghidorah all by himself? And that's where we leave part 1 of What If Space Godzilla was in the Earth Godzilla trilogy.